my friend, I have a favor to ask. I'm running as a hero in the 2023 St. Jude Memphis Marathon weekend. St. Jude heroes are runners who fundraise while they train for their race, and I am proud to be a part of this nationwide alliance against childhood cancer. I want to help make sure that families never receive a bill from St. Jude for treatment, travel, housing, or food, so they can focus solely on helping their child live. Your donation, no matter the size, will help. Will you help me reach my fundraising goal? Please visit my fundraising page to show your support at fundraising.stjude.org/go-to/DonitaJ. That's DONITAJ. There's a link in the show notes. I can't thank you enough for helping the kids of St. Jude. Welcome back, dear listeners. I've been eagerly awaiting this episode, where it's all about you and the questions you've been itching to ask. From the curious to the quirky, I've sifted through some questions and am thrilled to dive into these topics that have sparked your interest. Your engagement means the world to this podcast, and I'm honored to dedicate this episode to your voices. So listen in for episode 43 of the Official Triathlete Podcast. Hey, my friend. My name is Donita Jacobs. Some people know me as a nurse, a leader, and health expert. Other people know me as a coach, race official, and seasoned triathlete. But at the end of the day, I'm simply a friend with a mission. I want to help you transform your life. My goal isn't to help millions. My goal is to help you. Welcome to the Official Triathlete Podcast, where you will learn about all things multisport, broken down into bite-sized pieces, and how we can blend life demands with fitness goals. My approach is different because I am blending my 20-plus years of healthcare and athletic experience to help you be the healthiest, happiest, and most balanced athlete you can be. I believe in you, even if you don't. You really can reach those soaring goals, and I'm here to help you get there. I'm so glad you made it here. If you have a question or topic idea, get in touch and let me know. After all, this show is for you. Enjoy! Hello, my friends and fellow athletes. Thanks for tuning in. I'm so grateful that you're here. Before we get to your questions, I like to start each episode with a little message from my Train with Heart program. It's my mission to transform the whole athlete, so Heart not only develops and prepares the body for improved athletic performance, but aims to optimize the whole person through healing, empowerment, awareness, reflection, and transformation. So each episode, I share a little snippet from how I help my athletes with one of these elements. Today, we are going to discuss awareness. Let's uncover a connection as ancient as humanity itself, the mind-body link. Ever wondered how your thoughts influence your physical state and vice versa? Let's dive in. In every culture, ancient scriptures and age-old philosophies talk about the harmony between the mind and the body. But in today's fast-paced world, we often segregate them. The truth? They're deeply, undeniably intertwined. Think about it. Ever noticed how stress can lead to a tight knot in your stomach or a tension headache? Or how a simple, joyous thought can lighten your step? It's not a mere coincidence. First, the physical manifestation of mental strain. Chronic stress and prolonged anxiety have tangible effects. High cortisol levels, weight gain, sleep disturbances, even weakened immunity. For an athlete, this means slower recovery times, reduced stamina, and increased susceptibility to injuries. Second is mental blocks and athletic performance. An athlete's mental state can make or break a game. Anxiety can decrease motor skills, reaction times, and decision-making abilities. A clouded mind can overshadow months or even years of physical preparation. And third, the reverse is true too. Physical pain can lead to anxiety, depression, and mood swings. Ever noticed a teammate becoming increasingly irritable when they're not in their best physical shape? It's the body's way of signaling that something's off. So what can we do? Number one is awareness. Recognize when your mental health might be taking a toll on your physical state. Listen to your body. Sometimes the simplest aches and pains could be your body's way of saying it needs mental rest. Second is holistic training. Athletes should incorporate mindfulness, meditation, and even yoga. By taming the mind, you tame the body. It's a 2-for-1 deal. And number 3 is to seek help. There's no shame in admitting when you're struggling. Just as you'd see a physiotherapist for recurring physical pain, consider seeing a therapist for mental strain. The mind and body are two sides of the same coin. One can't function optimally without the other. As athletes, as humans, nurturing this connection isn't just an option, it's a necessity. Let's strive for harmony, strive for balance, and witness the wonders it can do for your performance and overall well-being. All right, let's delve into this week's Q&A and explore the topics that have been on your minds. Question 1. My nose is very runny when I exercise. What is the etiquette, technique, and prevention strategies of snot rockets? The snot rocket, or the farmer's blow. An essential skill for many outdoor athletes, especially runners and cyclists, but one that definitely requires a touch of finesse and consideration for those around you. Here's a guide to the etiquette, technique, and prevention strategies. For etiquette, look before you blow. Always make sure the coast is clear. Look around and make sure no one is close enough to be in the blast zone or downwind of you. Move to the side. If you're on a trail or a path, try to step to the side to ensure you're out of the way of others. And give a warning. If you're running or riding with others and need to clear your nose, a quick verbal warning can give them the time to hang back. Now, be discreet. While it might be a necessity, it's not everyone's favorite thing to witness. It's pretty gross. Try to be as discreet as possible. Avoid it in crowded areas. This might sound obvious, but it's worth noting. If you're at a crowded event like a marathon starting line or a packed cycling event, refrain from using this method. Use a tissue or a handkerchief instead. Now for your technique, use your thumb or a finger, place it against one nostril, closing it off. Tilt your head. Angle your head slightly towards the open nostril. This will direct the snot towards the ground and away from your shoes and clothing. And blow hard. With a quick, forceful blow, expel the contents of the open nostril. Then switch sides if needed and repeat in the other nostril. Check and clean. After the deed is done, it's always good to check to ensure you don't have any remnants on your face. Now, prevention. While the snot rocket is a useful tool, there are some strategies to reduce the frequency. Number 1 is to stay hydrated. Proper hydration can thin mucus, making it less bothersome. Number 2 is to warm up. Often nasal passages clear up after a few minutes of exercise. A proper warm-up can reduce the need later on. Of course, if you're me, it's the opposite of that. The colder I get, the more I get stopped up. Carry tissues or a handkerchief. For those especially runny days, having tissues or a small cloth can be a lifesaver. I cut up old t-shirts into small strips. It's less irritating on my nose. You can use a nasal irrigation. Some athletes swear by regular nasal irrigation, using devices like a neti pot to reduce the congestion. Avoid dairy before exercise. Anecdotally, some people find that consuming dairy products before exercising can increase mucus production. Remember, while the snot rocket is a practical skill for outdoor athletes, it's crucial to be considerate of those around you and maintain good etiquette when employing this technique. Now, I am not an expert snot rocker. I am just used to carrying my little t-shirt snot rags. Next question. Should I eat or fast before a workout? This is a great question. Whether to eat or fast before a workout is a topic of debate and can depend on various factors, including the type and duration of the workout, individual goals, and personal preferences. Here are some considerations to help you out. Eating before a workout. The advantages are fuel for the workout. Consuming carbohydrates, especially before exercise, can provide the necessary energy, especially for high intensity or longer duration workouts. Muscle preservation. Consuming protein before a workout might help reduce muscle breakdown. Stabilizing blood sugar levels. Eating can help prevent low blood sugar or hypoglycemia, which can lead to symptoms like dizziness, fatigue, and weakness. And potentially improved performance. Some studies suggest that consuming a meal or snack before exercise can improve performance compared to fasting, especially in endurance events. When to consider eating before a workout. If the workout is high intensity or lasts longer than 60 minutes, you feel lightheaded or dizzy when exercising on an empty stomach, or you're aiming to optimize performance, such as during a race or competition. Now, fasting before a workout. The advantages are fat adaptation. Exercising in a fasted state might promote adaptations that make the body more efficient at burning fat as fuel. Convenience. Some people prefer to exercise without the feeling of food in their stomach and don't like to eat first thing in the morning. That's me. I don't like to eat first thing in the morning, and I don't really like to exercise on a full stomach. And the time that I have to work out is pretty much immediately after I work out. So I typically exercise in a fasted state. Another advantage is the potential weight loss benefits. Some research suggests that fasted workouts might promote fat loss. However, the overall calorie balance throughout the day maintains a crucial factor. When to consider fasting before a workout. The workout is low to moderate intensity and relatively short. You're training for an event where you expect to be in a depleted state at some point, and you want to simulate those conditions. You feel comfortable and energetic without eating before exercise. Your primary goal is fat loss, and you're following a specific fasting protocol. So some recommendations. Experiment and listen to your body. Everyone's body is different. What works for one person might not work for another. Experiment with both eating and fasting before workouts to see which approach feels best for you. Timing and composition. If you decide to eat, the size and composition of the meal or snack will vary depending on how much time you have before the workout. A larger meal can be consumed 3 to 4 hours before exercise, while a smaller snack can be eaten 30-60 minutes prior. Stay hydrated. Regardless of whether you eat or fast, ensure you're adequately hydrating before and during exercise. Consult a nutritionist or dietitian. If you're unsure about what's best for your specific situation and goals, consider seeking guidance from a sports nutritionist or a dietitian. So in summary, the decision to eat or fast before a workout largely depends on the individual's goals, the type and duration of exercise, and personal preferences. It's essential to find an approach that feels good for your body and supports your fitness objectives. Okay, next question. Is a year long enough to train for a 70.3? So my answer is yes, for many individuals. A year is enough time to train for a 70.3, also known as a half Ironman, which consists of a 1.2 mile swim, a 56-mile bike, and a 13.1 mile run. The time required for training largely depends on the individual's current fitness level, previous experience, training consistency, and goals for the race. Here are a few considerations. What is your starting fitness level? If you already have a base level of fitness from regularly engaging in swimming, biking, or running, you'll likely progress faster than someone starting from scratch. If you're new to all three disciplines, a year provides a good amount of time to gradually build up endurance and skill. Your previous experience. If you've already completed shorter distance triathlons like sprints or Olympics, you'll have a better idea of race dynamics and training requirements, giving you an advantage in your 70.3 preparations. Training consistency. Consistency is key. Training regularly, even if sessions aren't extremely long or intense, will lead to more significant improvements over time. Having a year allows for the flexibility to deal with minor setbacks or breaks without drastically impacting your preparation. Goals. If your goal is to complete and enjoy the race, a year offers ample time for most people to prepare. If you're aiming for a competitive time or podium finish, your training demands might be higher and your starting fitness level becomes more crucial. Professional guidance. Hiring a coach or following a structured training plan can make your preparation more efficient. They'll ensure you progressively build your endurance, incorporate necessary recovery, and peak at the right time. Injury prevention. One advantage of having a year to train is the ability to gradually increase training volume, reducing the risk of overuse injuries. Remember to listen to your body and incorporate rest days and cross-training to prevent injuries. Brick workouts. These are workouts where you combine two of the disciplines, like biking followed immediately by running. Having adequate time to train allows you to incorporate more of these sessions, which are crucial for a 70.3. Race simulation. With a year of preparation, you can include several race simulation days where you try to mimic the race's conditions and demands. This helps mentally and physically prepare you for the race day. Participate in shorter races. Use shorter triathlons or single discipline races like open water swims, time trial bike races, or half marathons as part of your preparation. They're excellent for testing your race readiness, strategy, and gear. In summary, a year is generally sufficient for many people to prepare for a 70.3 triathlon, especially with consistent training and proper guidance. It's crucial to set realistic goals, prioritize injury prevention, and enjoy the journey of preparation. Okay, next question. How do I deal with pre-race swim anxiety? Oh, this is a big one for many. Pre-race swim anxiety is common among triathletes and open water swimmers, especially those who are newer to the sport or have had challenging experiences in the water. Here are some strategies to help manage and reduce this anxiety. Familiarize yourself with the course. If possible, swim in the race venue prior to the event. Getting used to the water temperature, clarity, and any other unique aspects can help reduce the unfamiliarity and associated anxiety. Practice open water swimming. If you're used to pool swimming, the open water can be intimidating. Incorporate more open water swims into your training to become more comfortable in different conditions. Simulate race conditions. Practice with groups to mimic the race day environment. This will help you get used to the close proximity of other swimmers and the chaos that can ensue at the start of a race. Develop a warm-up routine. A consistent pre-race routine, including dynamic stretching and a short swim, can help reduce anxiety and get you in the right mindset. Breathing techniques. Deep, controlled breathing can help calm nerves. Consider techniques like the box breathing method, where you inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, and then wait for another count of 4 before the next inhalation. Visualization. Imagine yourself successfully navigating the swim course, remaining calm, and handling challenges confidently. Position yourself strategically. If the thought of being in the middle of the pack makes you nervous, consider starting at the back or on the outside. This can give you more space at the beginning. Pace yourself. Remember, it's not a sprint, unless it's actually a sprint distance triathlon. Start at a comfortable pace and focus on your technique and breathing. Educate yourself. Know the swim course. Understand where the buoys are, where you'll turn, and any potential current or tide information. Familiarity can reduce the fear of the unknown. Safety precautions. Wear a bright-colored swim cap or use a safety buoy to ensure you're visible in the water. This is during training, of course. Knowing you're easily seen can provide peace of mind. Positive affirmations. Remind yourself of your training, preparation, and past successes. Use positive self-talk to combat negative and anxious thoughts. And seek support. Discuss your feelings with fellow athletes, coaches, or friends. They might offer helpful tips, share their experiences, or provide reassurance. And then consider professional help. If anxiety is significantly affecting your performance or enjoyment of the sport, consider speaking with a sports psychologist. They can provide strategies to cope with anxiety and improve your mental game. Remember, it's natural to feel anxious before a race, especially the swim portion. Over time and with consistent exposure and experience, many athletes find their pre-race anxiety diminishes. Okay, next question. What is a sweat test and should I get one done? So a sweat test is a procedure designed to measure an individual's sweat rate and the concentration of electrolytes, primarily sodium, in their sweat. The primary goal of this test is to help athletes understand their hydration needs during exercise. So how is the sweat test done? Now, there are several methods, but a common approach is as follows. You take an initial weigh-in. The athlete is weighed prior to exercising. This should be done without any clothes to get an accurate starting weight. Then exercise. The athlete then exercises for a set period, typically an hour, under conditions that closely match those they usually train or compete in. Then there's sweat collection. During the exercise, sweat is collected from a patch or absorbent pad placed on the skin, often on the forearm. This collected sweat will be analyzed for its electrolyte content. And then a final weigh-in. After exercising, the athlete is weighed again, without clothes, to determine the amount of weight loss. Then the calculation. The difference in pre- and post-exercise weight, accounting for any fluids consumed during exercise, gives an estimate of the athlete's sweat rate. The collected sweat sample is analyzed to determine the concentration of electrolytes, mainly sodium. So the benefits of a sweat test. You get a personalized hydration strategy. Every individual has a unique sweat rate and sweat composition. A sweat test can help tailor hydration strategies specific to an athlete's needs. Performance improvement. Proper hydration can enhance performance and delay the onset of fatigue. Prevention of hyponatremia. Some athletes are salty sweaters. Have you ever seen people that have salt all over their face or all over their arms after they exercise? This means that they lose a high amount of sodium in their sweat. For these athletes, consuming beverages with higher sodium content can be crucial. A sweat test can identify such individuals and prevent conditions like exercise-associated hyponatremia, a dangerous dilution of blood sodium levels. Another benefit is reduced cramping risks. While the exact cause of exercise-associated muscle cramps isn't solely linked to electrolyte imbalances, ensuring adequate sodium intake might help some athletes reduce their cramping risk. So should you get one done? Athletes involved in long-duration or high-intensity activities might benefit more from a sweat test. This includes marathon runners, triathletes, cyclists, and others who train or compete for extended periods. Athletes who train and compete in hot, humid climates may find a sweat test particularly useful due to higher sweat rates in such conditions. If you've faced hydration-related problems in the past, like cramps, hyponatremia, or frequent dehydration, a sweat test might offer insights. Now, sweat tests, especially those that measure electrolyte concentrations, might not be readily available everywhere and can be costly, so you must keep that in mind. So in conclusion, while not every athlete needs a sweat test, it can be a valuable tool for those seeking to optimize their hydration strategy. If you're considering it, discuss the idea with a sports nutritionist or a coach to determine its potential benefits for you. Okay, next question. What's the difference between tri-suits with long sleeves and no sleeves? So tri-suits are the garments that are specifically designed for triathlons. They come in various designs, including those with long sleeves and those without sleeves. Both types have their advantages and potential drawbacks. So here's a breakdown of the differences between the long-sleeved and the sleeveless tri-suits. The long-sleeve tri-suits. The advantages are aerodynamics. Long-sleeve tri-suits are often more aerodynamic, especially if they fit well. This can offer a speed advantage, particularly during the bike leg. They offer more sun protection. The extended coverage provides additional protection from the sun, which can be crucial during longer events or races in sunny locales. Compression. Some long-sleeve tri-suits offer compression benefits, which may aid in muscle support and potentially reduce fatigue. And protection from the elements. During cooler races, long sleeves can offer a bit more warmth. They also provide a barrier against minor scrapes or chafing, especially during the swim or run. Now, the drawbacks are heat retention. In hot and humid conditions, long-sleeve tri-suits might feel warmer and less breathable than sleeveless versions. There's potential for increased drag in the water. If the suit doesn't fit perfectly, there's a potential for slight increased drag during the swim. Now, sleeveless tri-suits. The advantages are cooling. Sleeveless tri-suits are often cooler and can be more comfortable in hot conditions since they allow for better airflow and evaporation of sweat. Freedom of movement. Without the sleeves, there's a potential for slightly more freedom of movement, especially in the shoulder area during the swim. And it's a traditional choice. Sleeveless tri-suits have been around longer and are a more traditional choice for many triathletes. Now, the drawbacks are they're less aerodynamic. Generally, skin is not as aerodynamic as the fabric of a tri-suit, so exposed arms might slightly reduce aerodynamic efficiency compared to long-sleeved options. And reduce sun protection. Exposed arms mean more skin is vulnerable to the sun's UV rays, requiring diligent sunscreen application. So choosing between long-sleeve and sleeveless tri-suits largely depends on individual preference, race conditions, and priorities, such as the aerodynamics versus cooling. It's essential to try different styles during training to see what feels best in varied conditions for you. Okay, next question. How do I get over a DNF from a mental perspective? A did not finish, or a DNF, can be a challenging experience for any athlete, especially if you've put in significant time, effort, and emotion into your training and preparation for an event. The mental and emotional impact of a DNF can range from disappointment to severe self-doubt. Here are a few steps to help you move forward. Allow yourself to grieve. It's okay to feel disappointed or upset. Give yourself permission to feel those emotions without judgment. It's a natural part of the healing process. Understand the reasons. Analyze the reasons for the DNF. Was it due to an injury, unexpected weather conditions, equipment failure, or something else? Understanding the cause can help you address it in your future training and preparation. Gain perspective. Remember that every athlete, no matter how elite, faces setbacks. A DNF is just one event on one day. It doesn't define your entire athletic journey or your worth as an individual. Talk about it. Share your feelings with friends, family, coaches, or fellow athletes. They can provide support, share their experiences, and offer advice. Sometimes just talking about it can be therapeutic. Focus on what you can control. Instead of dwelling on the things that went wrong, Focus on the aspects of your training and racing that you can control. This proactive approach can make you feel more empowered. Learn from the experience. Every setback provides an opportunity for growth. Assess what went wrong and how you can address it in the future. Adjust your training, equipment, or race strategy as needed. Set new goals. Once you've processed the experience, set a new goal. They don't necessarily have to be race related. It could be improving a specific aspect of your training, mastering a new skill, or even taking on a completely different challenge. Celebrate the journey. Remember to appreciate the journey and the growth that comes with it. Celebrate the small victories, the lessons learned, and the resilience you've developed. Consider professional help. If a DNF has significantly impacted your mental well-being, consider seeking help from a sports psychologist or a counselor. They can provide strategies and perspectives that can aid in your mental recovery. And get back out there. When you're ready, get back to training or even participate in another event. Sometimes the best way to move past a DNF is to face another challenge head-on. Remember that setbacks are a part of every triathlete's journey. They provide an opportunity to learn, grow, and come back stronger. The key is to keep perspective, stay positive, and continue moving forward. All right, the next question is, when is the right time to buy a high-end triathlon bicycle? Okay, deciding when to invest in a high-end triathlon bicycle depends on a variety of factors. Here are some considerations to help determine the right time. Your experience level. Before investing in a high-end bike, ensure that you're committed to the sport. Beginners might not notice or benefit from the nuanced differences between an entry-level and high-end bike. As you gain experience, the advantages of a high-quality bike will become more apparent. Financial readiness. High-end triathlon bikes are a significant investment. Ensure you're in a stable financial position and have considered the long-term costs, including maintenance, potential upgrades, and replacement parts. Your race goals. If you're aiming for a podium finish, trying to qualify for a major event, or shaving off crucial minutes from your bike split, a high-end bike might make a difference. However, if you're participating for fun or fitness, an entry or mid-level bike might suffice. Performance plateau. If you feel you've maximized performance gains with your current setup and training, but still seek improvement, a high-end bike can offer the technological and aerodynamic advantages you need. Fit and comfort. As you spend more time in the saddle, you'll realize the importance of a good bike fit. High-end bikes often come with more adjustability and fit options. If you're struggling to find a comfortable setup on your current bike, it might be time to look for a higher-end model designed for better customization. Technological advantages. High-end bikes often feature the latest in cycling technology, such as integrated hydration and nutrition storage, advanced aerodynamic designs, electronic shifting, and disc brakes. Equipment durability. If you're putting in a lot of miles, a high-end bike might offer better long-term durability and resilience. They're often built with superior materials and craftsmanship, translating to fewer issues over time. And consider resale value. Quality bikes often retain their value better than lower-end models. If you take care of a higher-end bike, you might recoup a significant portion of your investment if you decide to sell. Also consider your training volume. If you're ramping up your training volume and intensity, investing in a high-quality bike can ensure you're getting the most out of each session. Feedback from coaches or experienced triathletes. Sometimes getting an outside perspective can help. If your coach or fellow triathletes believe you could benefit from a high-end bike, it might be worth considering. So in summary, the right time to buy a high-end triathlon bike is a combination of your goals, experience, financial readiness, and commitment to the sport. Before making a decision, it's wise to test ride several models and consult with experienced triathletes or coaches. Okay, next question. What is a disc wheel and when should I use it? Okay, a disc wheel is a type of bicycle wheel that's characterized by a solid or covered surface, as opposed to the typical spoked wheel design. Here are some attributes and scenarios associated with disc wheels. The advantages of disc wheels are aerodynamics. The primary reason cyclists use disc wheels is for aerodynamic benefits. The smooth surface of a disc wheel reduces air turbulence, making it more efficient at higher speeds compared to spoked wheels. The stiffness. Disc wheels are often stiffer than spoked wheels, which can translate to more direct power transfer, especially during sprints or time trials. Now, the disadvantages are the weight. They are typically a little heavier than their spoked counterparts, which might not make them the best choice for climbing heavy courses. Handling in crosswinds. Their large surface area can make bikes more susceptible to being pushed around by crosswinds, which can be a handling challenge for some riders. And cost. Disc wheels are often more expensive than standard spoked wheels. Braking. For disc wheels with carbon braking surfaces, braking performance, especially in wet conditions, can be a concern, although this is being addressed with advancements in brake pad technology and the increased use of disc brakes. So when to use a disc wheel? Time trials and triathlons. These are the most common events where you'll see disc wheels. The emphasis in these races is on aerodynamics, since riders are often battling the clock on relatively flat courses. Track racing. Track cyclists, especially those in sprint events, often use disc wheels for those stiffness and aerodynamic properties. Flat road races. In some professional flat road races, you might see riders using a disc wheel on the rear for aerodynamic advantage. And non-windy conditions. If you know the conditions for your event will be calm, a disc wheel can provide an aerodynamic edge without the drawback of tricky handling in crosswinds. So the decision to use a disc wheel should be based on the specific demands of the race, the conditions, and the rider's comfort and experience with this equipment. If an athlete is considering investing in a disc wheel, it's beneficial to test ride one in various conditions to get a feel for its performance and handling characteristics. Okay, next question. How can I prevent cramping during racing and training? Muscle cramping during racing and training is a common concern among athletes, and while the exact cause of exercise-associated muscle cramps, or EAMC, is still debated, there are various strategies that athletes can employ to try to prevent them. First up is proper hydration. Dehydration can be a factor in muscle cramping. Ensure you are drinking enough fluids before, during, and after training or racing. Electrolyte balance is essential. Consider using sports drinks that contain electrolytes, especially sodium and potassium, if training or racing for extended periods. Your nutrition. Eating a balanced diet can help ensure that your body has the minerals and electrolytes it needs. Consider consuming foods rich in potassium, like bananas and oranges, and magnesium, like nuts and spinach, which play roles in muscle function. Tonic water, which contains quinine, is sometimes consumed by athletes to prevent cramps, but its efficacy is debated and there might be potential side effects. Warm up and stretch. A proper warm-up can prepare muscles for the stress of training or racing. Gentle stretching before and after exercise can help increase flexibility and might reduce the risk of cramps. Train specifically. Ensure that your training mimics the race conditions as closely as possible, including intensity, duration, and terrain. Sudden changes in intensity or duration can increase the risk of cramping. Monitor your training load. Overtraining or rapidly increasing training load can increase the risk of muscle cramps. Follow a structured training plan that allows for adequate recovery. Conditioning. Regular strength training and conditioning can help the muscles withstand the demands of racing and reduce the likelihood of cramping. Posture and biomechanics. Ensure that any equipment, such as your bicycle, is properly adjusted to your body. Poor biomechanics or posture can lead to muscle imbalances and increase the risk of cramping. Stay acclimated. If racing or training in a hot or humid environment, allow time to acclimate if coming from a cooler climate. Listen to your body. If you start to feel a cramp coming on, you should reduce the intensity or change your activity to try to stave it off. Consider supplements. Some athletes swear by specific supplements or products designed to prevent cramps. However, the evidence for many of these is anecdotal. Always consult a healthcare professional before starting any new supplements. And massage and foam rolling. Regular massages or self-massage using foam rollers can help alleviate muscle tightness and might reduce the risk of cramps. If you are frequently experiencing cramps despite trying these prevention strategies, it might be worthwhile to consult a sports physician or physiotherapist to ensure there are no underlying issues. Okay, and the last question. Is it a good or bad idea to get a flu shot 2 weeks before a race? This is perfect timing since it's flu season. Now, I am not a doctor, I'm a nurse, but there are several factors to consider when deciding whether to get a flu shot 2 weeks before a race. Consider the immune response. After receiving the flu vaccine, the body starts to build immunity against the flu. This process typically takes about 2 weeks, which is why it's recommended to get vaccinated before flu season starts in full force. If you get the flu shot 2 weeks before a race, you will be hitting your race day right around the time when your immunity is fully developed. Consider the side effects. Some people may experience side effects from the flu shot. Common side effects are usually mild and can include soreness, redness, or swelling at the injection site, headache, muscle aches, fever, and nausea. These side effects usually last a short time, typically a day or two. However, if you are particularly sensitive, it might interfere with your final training sessions. Now, the flu can be debilitating and could easily ruin your race performance or even prevent you from participating. If the race falls during flu season, getting vaccinated can protect you from catching the flu before or after the event. Training disruption. If an athlete has a severe reaction, which is rare, or feels under the weather for a few days after the shot, it might interfere with your taper or final training sessions before the race. Personal health and surroundings. If you are around individuals who are at high risk of flu complications, such as elderly family members or children, getting vaccinated might be a priority regardless of the timing of a race. Given these considerations, the decision to get the flu shot 2 weeks before a race should be made on an individual basis, taking into account your health history, training schedule, and personal priorities. It would be a good idea for you to consult with your healthcare provider about the best timing for vaccination in relation to your race schedule. Now, I am a huge flu shot advocate. I can't help it. I'm a nurse, have been a nurse for nearly 20 years. And not only am I required to get the flu shot, but I want to get the flu shot. I've seen too many people that get severely sick from the flu. So my recommendation is to get your flu shot sometime before flu season really is in full force. All right, my friend, thank you for tuning into this special Q&A episode. It's been incredible addressing your questions and diving deep into topics that matter to our community. Remember that your curiosity and engagement are what drive this podcast forward. So keep those questions coming for future episode. Email me at officialtriathletepodcast@gmail.com or go to my website, trynursecoaching.com. Now, if you've enjoyed today's session or have any feedback, please share, rate, or leave a comment. Until next time, keep listening, stay curious, and thank you for being a part of my podcast family. That's all for now. Thanks for tuning in. I want to get to know you, so head over to trynursecoaching.com and sign up for a free 30-minute goal-setting session. Love the show? I'd be forever grateful if you left a review and shared the podcast with your friends. And remember, do things that are hard.